Fourth down, five-man rush. Goff will throw deep, looking for Everett against May. Deflected away. Marcus May with the play of the day for the Jets.
I am in so much pain even just hearing that. I mean, where was this when the games actually mattered for the New York Jets? Marcus May, you heard there on Fox, Kevin Kugler with the call, makes his acrobatic play in man-to-man coverage to save the game for the Jets. Where was this when any of the games mattered? When the Jets defense was a sieve for the first 13 weeks of the season? It's just so painful. Not that the Jets won, because I never thought for a second going into the year they were going to be this bad. But when they started to lose game after game after game, it's just like, just be bad for 3 more games. Just lose out. Like, if they're going to win a game, the game they would have won would have been, you would think, New England the last week of the year. To win as a 17-point underdog, I mean, you just can't make it up. It's so painful. And I don't blame the players. I don't blame the coaching staff. They're not tanking. They're trying to win games. The guys on the team don't give a damn whether or not Trevor Lawrence is a Jet next year. So it's not about the players, dropping passes or, fumbling snaps. It's just the Jets can never get a break. Like, they have been historically bad for 13 weeks. Just lose. Just lose 3 more games. Just lose to a team that was picked to go to the Super Bowl by many over the last couple weeks. It's so frustrating. I'm so aggravated with this team. I mean, the Jets can never just be bad enough. The one year where being bad is golden, where there's this generational quarterback prospect coming out, and they're this close to getting that guy. But of course, going 1-15 now is not going to be enough. I looked it up. The 2018 Arizona Cardinals won 3 football games, and they still had the first pick in the draft. The Jets are going to finish 1-15, tied for the worst record in the history of the franchise, and they're not going to have the first pick to show for it. I mean, just give me a break. Give Jet fans a break. Can we not ever get nice things? I mean, just stuck in mediocrity forever. And I hate that this season has come down to having to root against this team. But they have been so bad this entire year. They've been outscored by over 200 points in all these games. They're way worse than the Jacksonville Jaguars. And yet they're likely going to finish 1-15 and not get the first pick because somehow, some way, because of strength of schedule tiebreakers, Jacksonville is going to finish with the first overall pick. I'm not even as mad about the win as I am just the circumstance, because you could be one of the worst teams in the league and still get the first pick if you only win 1 or 2 games. And the Jets are going to go 1-15 and not get the guy that everyone thinks is can't miss. And I'll say what I said at the beginning of the show this morning. All yesterday guarantees is that Trevor Lawrence is about to be an all-time great, because that's how this works. That's how this works if you're a Jet fan. Expect Trevor Lawrence to be an all-time great, because now it is a lock that is going to happen. Just watch. And then the Jet fan will have to think about this Rams upset win for years to come. And it's just so Jets. It's just extremely unlucky. Not that they won a game, because they should have beat the Raiders a couple weeks ago. But it's just the fact that Jacksonville's in all these games, right? We joked on the show they're the greatest, 1-13 football team we've ever seen. And they couldn't win one more game along the way. They're going to end the year on a 15-game losing streak. I mean, I looked at the Jags' upcoming schedule, because that's what you do as a Jet fan. You try and talk yourself into maybe there's some hope. They play the Bears at home on Sunday. If they don't win that game, are they going to beat the Colts the last week of the season? Maybe if Indy rests their starters, but I doubt it. So Jacksonville's likely going 1-15, and it's just so painful to have to watch this season and be the butt of jokes week after week after week and hear about Adam Gase and how bad he is, and he is awful, and just knowing, though, that, hey, there's some light at the end of the tunnel, that if they finish with the first pick, there's an easy decision to make. Now, it's not so easy. Now, there's 130 days of, well, do they keep Sam Darnold? Do they trade Sam? Do they then draft Justin Fields? Is it not Justin Fields? Is it Zach Wilson? And it's like just nauseating as a Jet fan how big of a deal picking 1 and 2 is this year. It's not to say Justin Fields or Zach Wilson won't be good, right? This year, Justin Herbert was the 3rd guy taken. He's been the best out of all 3 of the quarterbacks in the first round. But it's just Why can't it ever just be easy? Where the decision's made. I mean, they have been so bad this year, this football team. Why do they have to go out there and win yesterday? Why? Where was this when the games mattered? Right? The Jets were 7-9 last year. They didn't go into the season thinking they were going to be historically bad. That was the circumstance the year has led us to. So just finish the damn job. I give the Jet fan a break. The Jet fan deserves a player like Trevor Lawrence. He doesn't belong in Jacksonville. No one's ever said, I can't wait to play in Jacksonville. And you know how irrelevant the Jaguars are? All the talk is LOL Jets, lol Jets. Let's make fun of the Jets. No one gives a damn about the Jacksonville Jaguars, who stink and are irrelevant and nobody gives a damn about. Nobody cares about the freaking Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm just waiting. Hey, media, start the rumors. Trevor Lawrence hates playing in London. Let's make up a bunch of BS because that's what was said about the Jets when they had the first pick. Oh, Trevor Lawrence is going to force his way out of New York. He doesn't want to go to the Jets. They're a dysfunctional organization. Where's that? Where are those storylines? Where's the Jeremy Schaap, ESPN E60 piece about, getting the first pick? You don't deserve it if you're a bad team because the Jets would have been the first ever bad football team to get the first overall pick. When is Trevor Lawrence forcing his way out of Jacksonville, right? That's how this works. You can't go to a bad team if you're a generational quarterback prospect. That's not allowed. Oh, wait. We only force that BS narrative because it's the Jets. Now with the Jaguars, nobody says a peep. Now it's let's blame the Jets for winning a game as if the plan was to go 1-15. And that's what frustrates me the most. Any other year you go 1-15, guess what? You still pick first because going 1-15 is really, really bad and really hard to do. But not this year because the Jaguars had to lose 15 games in a row. It's just, you can't get a break. I'm more upset about that than them actually winning a game because this team should have won a couple games this year. They should have beat New England on Monday Night Football. They very easily could have beat the Broncos in that Week 4 game. There were games this year where the Jets could have won. They're not as depleted as people think. They're just poorly coached. They have some players on this team. But just be bad for 3 more games. Just be bad for a couple more games, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's just so frustrating. And I believe in Joe Douglas as this team's general manager. I think he'll get a great player at 2, or he'll know what to do with the pick, whether that be trading down or just taking, the left tackle from Oregon that everyone seems to love, or Jamar Chase, the wide receiver from LSU, or Devontae Smith from Alabama. There'll be guys available. But there's not going to be a Trevor Lawrence. The decision was easy if you're the Jets. You trade Sam and take Lawrence. Now it's like, well, what do we do? And I don't have the answer to that. My preference right now this morning, because it's been asked a ton to me on my Twitter account and people texting me, my preference would be keep Sam Darnold. Give Sam a real chance with a coach not named Adam Gase or Todd Bowles. I'm watching Baker Mayfield last night, and I don't see a guy that's that much better talent-wise than Sam Darnold. I think Sam has higher upside than a guy like Baker Mayfield. I really do. Some of the wow plays Sam makes. Perfect example is yesterday. Sam escapes the pocket, puts a pinpoint pass on the money to Braxton Berrios, who sucks in the end zone, and he drops it. That's happened so many times to Sam over the last 3 years. He's got to clean up the turnovers and whatnot. There's issues with Darnold. But I'll tell you what, I still think he could be very good if he had the right pieces around him. And the Jets have all these picks. They have the second most cap space in the league. I don't want to move on from Sam Darnold to take another quarterback that we hope might be good. I've seen enough from Sam over the last 3 years where there's ability there that can be coached out of him. Alex Smith was a bust until Jim Harbaugh got to San Francisco. And then he worked with Harbaugh and Andy Reid and turned himself into a very good quarterback. What was Ryan Tannehill with Adam Gase? Now look at Ryan Tannehill now. Before we jettison Sam Darnold, can't we see what the guy looks like with better pieces and a better coach around him? But now this is what stinks. This is what stinks. We're talking about this on a Monday morning when the talk for the last 13 weeks was basically Trevor Lawrence or bust. And now it's like, well, it's time to go to plan B. It's awful. It really is. It's just you can't get a break rooting for this football team. I mean, it's just, of course, Adam Gase, who couldn't coach A JV football team, it looked like, for this entire season, outcoached Sean McVay yesterday. And shame on the Rams. Let's not let them get off easy here either. No one talks about the Rams either because they're irrelevant in their own city, right? They're almost as irrelevant as the Chargers are in LA. Sorry, Ron, but you know it's true, and you're a fan of the San Diego Chargers. I mean, the Rams are going nowhere this year. Let's get on them for a moment, all right? Everyone wants to make fun of the Jets, and rightfully so because they won a game. Crazy. But the Rams aren't going anywhere. This is why I don't trust them. I don't trust him because Sean McVay got outcoached by Adam Gase. Jared Goff wet his pants yesterday in the first half of this game. He was awful. And the play calling late in this game, the offensive genius that is Sean McVay, it's like him and Adam Gase swapped places yesterday during this football game. 3rd and 4, 4th and 4, game on the line, Rams final possession, and they're chucking it downfield when they need 4 yards to move the sticks and keep the drive rolling. I mean, what are they doing? Awful. And then you had the ref calling a garbage, blocking the back on the right guard or left guard of the Rams that took away a touchdown. And the Jets punter, Braden Mann, saved a touchdown that would have gave the Rams the lead. I mean, the Jets are going to miss out on a generational quarterback in large part because their punter made a tackle that saved the touchdown. It doesn't get more Jets than that. I'm frustrated. I'm ticked off. I'm just angry that they couldn't just be bad for 3 more games. 3 more games. I wasn't asking for much. The goal going into the year wasn't to tank, but when you're this close, can you just give your fan base a break? Just be bad for 3 more games. They couldn't even do that. They had to win a game. But I'm telling you, the more frustrating part is the fact they're likely going to finish 1-15 and not get the first pick. How unlikely that is. Go look it up. Most teams that pick first win at least 2 games. Cardinals in 2018 won 3. Awful. It's so Jets. It's so painful. And now we have 130 days of, do we stick with Sam and not take a quarterback or trade Sam and take Fields? No, I like Zach Wilson. And then you'll have actually Trey Lance. I don't want to deal with all this. It was easy. You're bad. You get Lawrence. Here we go. Now, the worst part about this as well, the Jets' head coaching job is not as attractive as it once was. Part of the major selling point on the Jets' job being as good as any that opens is Trevor Lawrence and all this cap space and these picks. But that was secondary. The first thing you would say would be generational quarterback prospect, Trevor Lawrence. Now, have fun in Jacksonville, Trevor. It's unbelievable. It's so painful. It's so Jets. And I'm just demoralized with this football team right now. I'm just demoralized. I can't. It's not surprising, but at the same time, it's just demoralizing. I don't know how much more the Jet fan base can take.